Good afternoon and welcome to the first meeting of the Department of Social Services Board. This is January 14th. I'd like to take a moment of silence or meditation. Okay. All right. Okay, thank you. As I just checked, and we do not have any public comments. Again, we would like the citizens of Pitt County to take advantage of that and to be able to address us, and we would welcome your comments and concerns. I'd like to just make two additions to the agenda. Well, just one, actually, the discussion of the interim director. And I'd like to have that after the swearing in of Mr. Eugene James. So I'd like to have a motion to adopt today's agenda.
I so move, Mr. Chairman. Second motion then.
Okay. Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay. I'd like to get a motion on the,
I move the approval of the minutes as mailed, Mr. Chairman.
I second that motion.
okay. Motion has been made and seconded to accept the previous minutes. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed? Thank you. Okay. Next, we're going to go to matters which require board action. And as I understand it, Mr. Eugene James is going to get sworn in again, or sworn at again.
Right, Mr. Eugene, it's a pleasure to swear you in again. You'll put your left hand, go hold the Bible with your left hand. Raise your right hand. You need you to raise your right hand.
Like this?
That's right, you got it. All right. Do you, Eugene James, solemnly swear and affirm that you will support and maintain the Constitution of the United States?
I do.
Do you, Eugene James, solemnly swear that you will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the state of North Carolina and to the constitutional powers and authorities which are or may be established for the government thereof, and that you will endeavor to support, maintain, and defend the Constitution of said state, not inconsistent with the Constitution of the United States, to the best of your knowledge and ability?
I do.
And do you, Eugene James, solemnly swear that you will well and truly execute the duties of your office as a member of the Pitt County Board of Social Services according to the best of your skill and ability, according to law, so help you God?
I do.
Let me be the first to congratulate you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Perry, I'd like you to step out there for a minute. We're going to use a virtual plaque, as the other plaque had a boo-boo on it. So what I'd like to do is to stand up here and thank you for your years of service. 35 years here in Pitt County, and you've always had the benefit of the citizens of Pitt County first and utmost in your mind. And we really appreciate everything you've done, and now that you're going to be resting and retiring, I want you to know that we wish you well, and you've done a great job, and really appreciate all your years of service.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
That's all, just a thank you.
We had to come to the retirement thing for more.
Oh. Ah. That sounds like that'll be really great. Okay. Okay, next we're gonna go to the budget amendment, family reunification program. That'll be done by P.J. Quinn. And P.J., what you can do is just do all of those at one time.
Yes, sir, I sure will.
Okay.
We received $10,296 for the Family Reunification Program, which is a child welfare program. We got $18,000 from, for employment transportation from the Department of Transportation. We have $63,345 from Smart Start for daycare for children ages 0 to 5. And we also got a donation from Greenville Utilities for $2,000. And the Casey Foundation donated not donated, but a grant of $40,000 for the next fiscal year.
Okay, that's really good. We always love free
Casey
money.
Foundation?
I just had just a couple of questions. With the Casey Foundation, that was a grant that we had to apply for?
We've had it for several years. It is, again, it's a child welfare initiative, and I know it's been going, we've had funding for like the last 4 years, but I do think we do, it's outcome-based, and as we make the outcomes, we end up getting the funding.
Okay.
It's-
Well, yeah.
Is it private?
Is it it's from the Casey Foundation. It's, I'm not sure, I don't know.
Okay.
That's a new one, but
Yeah,
I was curious.
Well, that's really good. I really like to see those types of things, especially shows a lot of initiative by the employees to go out and get that extra money, because we do need that, and that keeps us in the forefront in many ways. So that is just really very good. Okay. I'd like a motion to accept.
Mr. Chairman,
yes.
I accept the report for P.D. Quinn. P.J. Quinn is what I was saying. It sounds like P.D., but I said P.J. A motion to accept her report. That's what you wanted?
Yes.
Second.
Okay. Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed? Okay. As I added something in, I put it right at the bottom anyway as I was reading it. I wanted to just report back to the board that we do have, we've investigated, and we do have a interim director that we researched and we think will do a real good job. He's the former director of social services at Johnson County, Mr. Earl Marritt, and it's M-A-R-R-A-T-T, and he will be serving. We're looking at maybe 1 to 2 months as we proceed with the search for a new director. I'd like a motion to accept Mr. Marritt as the interim director.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I believe his last name is pronounced Merritt, and it's spelled M-A-R-R.
No, no.
I-
It's M-A-R-E-T-T,
Okay, but pronounced Merritt.
correct. And also,
Pronounced.
just to add on to the chairman's report, the 3-person committee that the board appointed back in December, it was Becky Starkey, the chairman, and myself, and Sylvia Johnson as the human resources consultant, interviewed the candidate and checked his references and brings forward this candidate to you that you're considering acting on right now.
And I'd like for you, the chairman of that, to kind of tell the public a little something about this gentleman, and because I think this is going to be very important as far as how we're going to go in the future.
Mr. Chairman, would you like me to elaborate?
Okay, well, I can elaborate.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Kind of help me out because you've worked with him. Mr. Merritt, he's a very active gentleman. The thing that stuck out for me was his knowledge with NC-FAST and some of his very creative ideas. He's just retiring, so he knows a lot of the things that are going on with the state. Knowing about NC-FAST as well as Medicaid rolling around, and I was impressed a lot by his new ideas, by his longevity, and also you talked with his references, which were equally impressed with him.
Yes, and the Johnson County as a DSS agencies was one of the 4 in the state of North Carolina that were pilot counties with NC Fast and have had great success and continue to have great success. Mr. Merritt also serves as on the statewide NC Fast Executive Committee within DHHS. So we're depending upon his expertise and knowledge and success in Johnston County and how he has worked to see NC Fast come about. In some respects, that could be good, bad, ugly, or indifferent, because NC Fast has different reputations. But at least as it pertains to Johnston County, I do know that when we interviewed him last month, the Medicaid module of NC Fast was just coming on that day, and Johnston County had few blips on the screen in terms of problems or errors. So we're looking forward to him helping us on the interim until a permanent director is selected. As a follow-up to your last board meeting as well, the advertisement is out there for recruitment for the interim director. You had designated the applications come to my office as county manager. We have received about a half a dozen so far, and that does close on the 31st of this month. And then anticipate probably the board would vet those candidates during first part of February, mid-February, probably interviews late part of February. And then if you select a candidate who needs to give notice, you're probably looking then through March. So you're probably looking around April 1st, probably best case scenario to have somebody in as a permanent director compared to the interim director you're getting ready to act on.
Now, what I really like about Mr. Merritt is that he's going to hit the ground running. There will be no kind of startup. He'll have a month off. He'll hit the ground running. He'll be able to do a lot of things. He knows a lot of the ins and outs. And to me, that was very, very important.
I'd like to say this, as a board member, I certainly appreciate the committee that we appointed and what you've done, and we know that it's going to work out. And we want to make sure that we take our time from the information that I've got, and of course, I've talked to the manager some more about this. We've got a good man, we better use him. And if we can get this thing started out right, which is what we need to do, it's so important. If it takes 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, ever what it takes, I think it would be money well spent. I really do. I think we need to start out right. And it's like you're playing ball, anything you start, you can go good, or you can kind of mess up. So we want to go right.
Mr. Chairman, as part of the motion, can you have that motion be the agreement between the DSS board, be included in that motion as well, between Mr. Merritt and the agreement that's been put forth? And we can enter that into the minutes, and if the board wants to know any of the details of that, we can disclose those as well.
Okay. All right. I'd like a motion.
I so move that I move that we do what has been recommended by our committee. I guess that would be sufficient with it, Mr. Manager.
Yes, sir.
Because the committee is one that's recommending it.
Like to have a second?
I second it if I can, but I'm part of the subcommittee.
Okay,
that's okay.
well, you can, okay. Well, motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay. All right. Next, we're going to go to reports to the board.
I'd like to report on the Holiday Cheer Project. It was once again outstanding results of the community coming to our aid to help the children as well as the adults that we were working with. We were able to help 151 adults that was in nursing homes, and we were able to do 107 children that we had in foster care. So it was only through the community coming to our assistance, since we do not have, as an agency, have money available to help around Christmas time. So I just want once again to thank the community for coming to our assistance to help the elderly as well as the children that we were working with.
Okay. Now, as I understand it, Gwen had an emergency. So,
Yes.
are we?
I'm gonna do.
You're gonna do her reports, okay? I'll kind of look at you and
Yeah.
think about Gwen.
Under the Low Income Energy Assistance Program, we started that program in December, working with the elderly and the disabled. At the present time, we have assisted 667 households. We denied 83 households which were over the income or other things that were wrong with the applications. We have spent $145,400 for the low-income energy assistance program. Beginning next month, we will open the program up to anyone that's want to apply for the low-income energy assistance program. We'll be operating off of at the 6th Street building that used to be the Strive building. We expect to see more individuals coming in, the young individuals coming in to apply. So once again, we want to send out the information to the elderly that this is the time that you can come in. You will not have to wait for an extended period of time for the low-income energy assistance program. So that's why we're doing it from December through January for that target group so that they will get first opportunity to apply for that program. And then in February, we will open it up for everyone. And we have in our crisis intervention program, we have $166,000 left in that program. We have been helping a lot of individuals. We have quite a few cutoff notices from different utilities companies for individuals coming in to get help with their energy. So we will run out at some point in time with the crisis intervention money.
I guess we'll go next to the technology.
Miss Peggy Quinn would do the technology report.
If you'll turn to page 17 in your notes, you'll see that there's several projects that are ongoing, but I wanted to highlight just a couple of them. The NC Fast Technology, about halfway down the page, it's an ongoing thing, and one of the things that we just recently did is we priced some scanners and some computers because within the technology of NC Fast is a document management modular where we would be able to do our files and that type of thing through paperless. It'll help us to start going paperless. So we're looking at trying to deal with starting that process as soon as we possibly can. And LEAP, which is the next one on the list, says it's ongoing, but we have everyone set up down at the Strive Center, and they're able, all the computer software and everything is there in place, and they're able to work from that location. And the application, the NC Fast application log tracking system, Mr. Patel has got it pretty much almost finished, and it's going to allow our staff to use less time in tracking applications and that type of thing, knowing where they are, because the reports that NC Fast actually produces through their system is not very useful, not friendly. You cannot manipulate them and this kind of thing. But with this new NC Fast application log tracking system, they'll have a better tool to use. And we are having another technology meeting tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock, so we're still working on different things.
Okay, I guess two comments. I really appreciate, Gwen, I really appreciate you working on this, as this was a significant issue for me with our technology. I'm still getting just numerous things regarding the computer and NC Fast, and it's really interesting, the number, and that I'm kind of concerned about that from the state level, but I'm glad to see that we are addressing it because there are any number of things that are going on. I also like the, let's see, where was it? Scanning in the court documents, I think, is on here.
Yes, sir.
That is really very good. I really like that also, because we do need that to speed up the rate of which we're getting those documents to the court, so that things can be investigated in a timely fashion.
Right.
Okay. Thank you for that.
It might be good right here that on Friday, we have another regional meeting set up. So I'm sure we'll hear about the last episode that happened with the state and the Medicaid cards that come out throughout the state of North Carolina. So I'll be attending that meeting on Friday.
Okay. If you would bring a report back to the board on that, if you could, for the next meeting.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. Let's see. George, you're next.
Okay.
Do we need a moment of silence? This is your last one?
We better pray for
No,
him.
just gotta keep going. Okay.
Just keep rolling right along.
Okay, all right.
Like an old man river,
Just keep rolling along, okay.
Okay, we're looking at Director's Report and the Emergency Solution Grant. This is a grant to help homeless individuals and family regain and maintain safe, stable, and affordable permanent housing. This grant is through Emergency Solutions. While it is, the planning department will continue to do the day-to-day operation with the staff, and we will be responsible for providing the oversight in that grant. So we just want to bring that to your attention. This is a joint effort between the planning department, Pitt County Department of Social Services, and other agencies that we're working with them on this grant to help homeless individuals to provide stable housing. We just wanted to share that with you. You have a Dear County Director. Yes.
I want to ask a question about the homeless, because we've had some real cold days.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering how you get to those people, how you find, is that man still living under the bridge down there? But, you know, how do you get to those people? Is it that they come out or?
They come out, you have the police department that goes out and check on the individuals. Remember, we talked about.
Because I was just curious, you know, we had some real cold days.
Yeah. And then you have the shelter that's still available for individuals to go into.
And this one is for families?
This is for
As
families.
opposed to individuals? Okay.
Trying to help them maintain stable housing, that if they're homeless, to move them into a place. And the staff is already hired, and we'll just be doing the
Okay.
Oh, okay.
managing of the funds. And the Dear County Director of Social Services letter is talking about different phases that we'll continue to work with. Family and Children Medicaid will be coming on. We received a notice from Wayne Black that the hard launch was supposed to start in January for the counties, but the hard launch has been postponed, so those counties will not come on, and they were supposed to come on in January the 19th. So I do not know what that means for February, March, because we were scheduled looking at March. So at the present time, the hard launch has been suspended for Medicaid. But we just wanted to share that with you. We're looking at trying to set up a self-service kiosk in our building to help clients when they come in, that they can go in and key the information in to the system, so they would not have to wait for a worker to talk to. So we doing work on that, see can we get that in place to help our clients, so as they come in, that they can go ahead and key the information in, go through the e-pass, and then it will show up as
What
well.
you gonna do for the people who don't know?
And the people that don't know, they can see a way to be seen.
Okay, because,
But
you
we're
know-
just trying to give them other avenues of providing service.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. We will still see individuals whenever they come in, but if you know how to operate the computer, then you can go to the computer, key the information in. We'll not have to wait.
That's
And
good.
the application will be sent through e-pass, and we will get that application. So that's one way that we can help the individuals. And like I said, phase 2 and 6 and phase 7 has been canceled. There will be no training, and the launch schedule for the weekend of January 19th will not happen. So we will see what else will happen in that.
It's interesting to know that Pitt County is not the only one that has some problem with the technology end of
Oh, well.
startup programs.
And then if you look at NCFAS update, we're still working on getting the backlog done. We have contracted with Vanguard. They will be taking some of our backlog applications. We have sent 200 cases to them for them to process. So we're trying to move some of the cases out, as well as we maintain our staff here to help with the processing. On any given month, we take over 1,400 food and nutrition service applications. So those are applications that got to be processed along with the backlog. So we're looking at other ways of getting those backlog application processed. Our redeterm unit has been able to maintain. So at the present time, they only had 27 pending applications, and some of those pendings were due to the clients turning information in late. So I'd just like to once again thank our staff for the hard work that they're doing and maintaining what we have put before them. And if you keeping up with what's going on, you can see that NCFAS statewide has issues, so, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. Okay, status of agency personnel. At the present time, we have 3 vacant positions, three frozen positions within the agency. And the other positions have been unfrozen. They're either in the process of screening, advertising, or interviewing. And since the last time, we have filled 3 positions, and instead of saying 2013, it should be 2014, but.
George, on the vacant positions, actually, in the last month, I've pretty much given DSS an exemption, and there's nothing frozen. I haven't even held the agency to the 30-day hold pattern, just thinking that we needed to, whether it's on the services side or the NCFAS side. So there's, from my end, there's nothing frozen, and there's nothing being held for the 30-day period. Now, that's inconsistent with how I'm treating other agencies,
Okay.
but knowing the demands and the caseload of DSS, I've made an exception. So I just wanted to point that out.
Well, I appreciate that, and we can go ahead and get with Florida.
I think the
too.
board can really thank you for that.
Really, thank you. There was the other thing that I just wanted to mention quickly was the use of the, for lack of better terms, the Vanguard Consulting Service, where they're able to bring staff in that are up to speed and are able to come in and get the information in, and if more people are needed, Vanguard is able to get that in as we see fit. And I really thank you for kind of greasing the skids for that contract to go through and for us to get that additional help. So thank you very much from the board.
Thank you again, Scott, for freezing those position. We'll be moving forward on that. Appreciate that. And I know staff appreciates knowing that those positions will be frozen and we can move forward and getting those positions filled and advertised. And on the status, on the telephone report, you can see that basically it's only went up 15,000 cases, 15,000 calls, and the majority of those calls were coming through the switchboard, 11,000 additional calls through the switchboard. December, we started the low-income energy assistance program, so we expect some calls to be coming in through that. We have seen a food and nutrition service, a decrease in the calls coming in for food and nutrition service. So overall, I think we're doing okay with the calls coming in. I would just like to say that we have so many different programs that we operate that we get calls for food and nutrition service, crisis intervention program, family and children Medicaid, adult Medicaid, CAP. So we have quite a few different calls coming in for different things at any given point in time.
For Leanne, just estimate how many calls do you think came in?
That would be hard to say.
Okay.
Since we don't,
Right.
Don't break it
Okay.
out
Don't
like
break
that.
it
It's
out.
not up there.
Okay.
yeah.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask a question on NCFAS? Pitt County had received the readiness report from the last one that was published, and I believe that was covered with the board, but at your last board meeting, you had asked and directed that Margaret Dixon assist on the NC-FAST side of the department in terms of analyzing resources. And one of the outcomes of that was the Vanguard contracting, working with Brian Everett, also the kiosks. They're talking about putting down the lobbies for those clients that can self-service themselves. But in a meeting that myself and the deputy manager, Dwayne Holder, had with Mr. Perry and Margaret, there was a number of outstanding cases or pending cases that was brought out that, from Margaret's evaluation, was saying that she thought even with the Vanguard contract that we would not be compliant with what we stated as our response back to that readiness assessment. And just would like George, just, I guess, for openness and full disclosure, just to know from what Margaret had reported at that meeting, there was close to 4,000 cases that were outstanding. So
we have 2,000 food and nutritional service cases that we're working on. Some of those cases are past due. I think we got 1,500, not 1,500. I got a report right here. We got 325 that's under 30 days, and so the rest of them would be 31 to 40 days or up to 120 days. So we got 1,200 some cases in food and nutrition service that are beyond the time frame. And we have cases in family and children Medicaid and adult Medicaid that we're working on the backlog. We are thinking that we probably will not make the February, I think we said February 28th, that we will have it done. But with Vanguard working and with staff working, I don't know exactly how many will we be left. But we're looking at, the state is looking at, for family and children Medicaid, to do a 30-day window that we will not have to take and research. So they were looking at moving our research down the road. So that will allow us in the Medicaid program to allocate staff to doing the application. So at the present time, I don't know exactly how many will be left at the end of February. But we have staff that are working to try to maintain what we said, but it looked like with all the cases that we might not be able to make it. With staff and training, new employees, and everything, that'll probably be hard to make that deadline. And at the present time, I don't know whether or not the state is still gonna stick with those dates. We were scheduled to go March, but if they don't do the hard launch on January the 19th, I don't know what it means for that first group that was scheduled to come in January, whether or not everything would be moved further down the road.
now, one question I had posed to Ms. Dixon was, in that meeting, based upon the Vanguard contract being executed, based upon that we decided to hold on to the temporary workers, at least through the month of January until the interim director got here, and then based upon our existing personnel we have in DSS, was it realistic to meet that March 1st deadline? And Mr. Perry, I think, has indicated that it's not. I did ask of her and the department, what would it take to make us compliant in terms of define X? You know, what is X in terms of the amount of dollars for part-time staff, full-time staff, contracted staff? And I'm still waiting to hear from that, but I thought you might want to be aware of that as well, because that's really a question that we need to know. Even though I realize that we're caught in the mix of an overall statewide crisis with NC-FAST, we still have, I guess, responsibilities to make sure that we're as compliant as we can, even in the mix of the state running into its own technical difficulties with this software platform. And this is a state software platform. I just want to make that clear to the public. It's not something that have taken on our own initiative. We're responding to a platform that the state has mandated down to all 100 counties to implement.
And if you think about the state platform, you get workarounds that cases will not take in the system, even though everything has been done. So the cases will not take, so then you send no cases to the help desk, and then the help desk have to decide how to get those cases to take. So we have all those other issues that go on along as well with trying to get cases processed. And then you're looking at training on the average, how long does it take to process one case? Some people saying it take 2 hours for an application. So if you're looking at 2 hours for an application, then at the 8 hours, then the max is four applications a day that you can do. Then you factor in how many staff you got doing applications. So if you got 6 staff doing application, they can only do 4 a day. Then you're looking at 24 applications a day, times 5 days, how many can be done, and then you look at the total number of applications I have, then that would give you some general idea, but we're not to that point. That's why we looking at Vanguard, they're doing 800 in some cases, that would move those 800 out of the agency, give them those cases, because staff is still responsible for gathering the information, taking the telephone calls, doing other things that go along with getting those cases ready to go to Vanguard, because when Vanguard get those cases, everything need to be there. You need to have your wages, you need to have everything there to process those cases.
And in terms of the Vanguard contract, it's Vanguard, but it's really a subsidiary of Vanguard that specializes in these DSS cases. And what they're doing is they're employing retired DSS workers to come on board to work for Vanguard through this subsidiary company. Now, PJ, do you remember the name of the company? Something Solutions,
Economic solutions,
Eligibility.
Eligibility Solutions, which again is part of Vanguard, but a subsidiary.
Right.
Out of those new employees, the last time I was in a meeting for the state, representing Pitt County, they were gonna hire new people with
Office
the-
support staff.
and
You're talking about
stuff
from the state?
Yeah, from the state.
They were supposed to send 2 here, but we have 1.
Uh,
For
Do
2,
you have to request them, or do they just automatically?
they were automatically sent. We were designate to have 2 office support staff. They will be here to help with help desk things that we could not do. I think we have 1.
That's
One.
correct.
Now, are these our people or
No,
theirs?
they're-
Because they were gonna pay someone from our staff, what I understood,
They're from the state staff.
to pay a person full-time to stay here who's
Right.
already with Pitt County. Did
They're-
that happen?
They are people that live in Pitt County, so they would not have to pay for the travel and different things. But we opted not to send our staff for that training because we needed our staff to be here to process cases and do that other work. And they would backfill the staff that we send, but that staff would not have any experience in the program. So we opted to let them send us an office support staff to deal strictly with the NC-FAS issues.
Now, what about the Medicaid stuff? Even though it's been postponed, they were hiring additional folks to help.
We have not gotten any additional folks for Medicaid.
And you don't have to request it, they just automatically send, or do I need to find out about that?
You need to find out because we have not heard anything from Division of DMA as to what they were planning on doing.
Yeah, because when we in those meetings sometimes, they are saying, we need this and we need that, and, you know.
And so you'll
Black is-
request those?
I sure will.
Okay.
I think, I got an email today that NC-FAS is supposed to be meeting, having a county manager call this Thursday to talk about NC-FAS issues with the county managers.
Well, if something needs to be brought up at that meeting on Friday, because the state director does come, please let me know, and I'd be happy to reiterate or support whatever it is you want done.
All right, okay. Okay, well, let's see, there's not gonna be a closed session, so,
Oh, is it time to adjourn?
yes, I'd like to get a motion to
Please,
adjourn.
Mr. Chairman, happy to offer the motion to
Second.
adjourn.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded that we adjourn. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed?
Eugene didn't have to get up and walk out this time.